Hey everyone, welcome back to another freshly brewed episode of Chai Pe Kharcha. We talk a lot about financial independence and retirement on this channel, but today we are going to tackle an incredibly important topic. What are some of the stressors that can accompany retirement and how to prepare for them? I recently read an article on MoneyWeb and learned about something called the Social Readjustment Rating Scale, or SRRS for short. And when I dig into it further, it blew my mind. So I knew that we need to talk about this. The Social Readjustment Rating Scale was developed by two psychiatrists, Holmes and Rahe, in 1960s. It is a tool that ranks 43 major life stressors to help individuals understand and assess their own stress load. This scale is particularly relevant for those approaching retirement, mainly because, according to the research of these psychiatrists, nearly half of life's most stressful events tend to occur around this time. It is crucial to recognize that retirement is not just about kicking back and relaxing on the beach. It involves navigating complex emotional, financial, and social challenges. Understanding these stressors can help us prepare and guard against potential pitfalls. As we transition into retirement, we might think that life will become smoother, but the reality can be different. There are five major stresses that many retirees face. I also want to share how some of that impact can be reduced through effective planning and management. Stressor number one, and this could be a little bit disturbing, but death of a spouse or a partner. This is the highest ranked stressor on the SRRS scale. The emotional toll of losing a partner is hard to describe, right? You're not only losing your life companion, which is an incredibly stressful event on its own. At the same time, it can also be accompanied by significant financial strain. In many households, it's the men who tend to take charge of all the financial management, and women generally tend to take a backseat. This is changing, but the vast majority of the country and even people living outside the country are still in that situation. It is also compounded by the fact that a lot of women tend to outlive the male partner. So, what can happen is that people can find themselves not only in an emotionally bad situation, but they might have to manage very complex financial issues. And sometimes this can happen at an age where you're not at your best in terms of mental and physical capacity. What is the solution? One, comprehensive financial planning, having your will in place, having proper documentation of all the assets, liabilities, debts, important documents required for one partner to understand and get a broad sense of where the money is and how to best use that money. Frequently and openly communicating with each other and making sure that both you and your partner are on the same page when it comes to money, investments, debt. Most importantly, absolutely crucial for you to stay on the same page on these things. And it's absolutely crucial to be very transparent. And it is very important that both of you should be able to independently manage your money without having significant dependency on the other person. The next thing is a major personal illness, right? This could happen to you, this could happen to your partner, this could happen to someone else in your family, a parent, anyone. Nobody's getting any younger. The earliest you would hit early retirement would be in your mid to late 30s, maybe early to late 40s. That's where some increased health risks start manifesting, right? Things like blood pressure, sugar, body aches, and pains tend to start happening at that age. This is due to sedentary lifestyles, lack of exercise, poor diet, poor sleeping, so many different things. And any or all of these things can lead to medical expenses going through the roof. The World Health Organization predicts that by 2030, 1 in 6 people globally will be 60 years or older. It is critical to have comprehensive medical coverage, health insurance. You should always make sure that you're doing your annual health checkups so that you can catch any developing issues as early as possible and get the right treatment as early as possible. It is also very important to maintain a healthy lifestyle, um, good diet, good exercise, good sleep, lots of hydration, um, making sure that you're taking your vitamins and those kind of things, depending on what your needs are. Having an extra buffer in your overall financial plan for some amount of money that goes above and beyond your medical insurance. Because let's face it, like depending on which country you're living in and in India, outside of India, it it can vary. In some places, you could have government provided medical health care, which is completely free of cost, but the quality of that healthcare might not be great. In other places, you could have zero support from the government, and every single penny of medical expenses need to come out from either your insurance or your own pocket. So it's important to understand your own situation where you're living and plan your medical expenses accordingly. The third big stressor is retirement itself. Ironically, people like us who are chasing early retirement, the act of retirement might itself become a major stressor in life. For the most part, people tend to identify themselves or base their identity on the work that they do. Your identity is defined by that work. So when you take the step of early retirement, a lot of people experience a loss of purpose, a loss of identity, isolation. They don't find themselves having the same circle, the same social status, your everyday circle of friends and colleagues. You're continuing to follow their routine. You lose your routine, right? You're somebody who's gone to a 9 to 5 job for 20, 25 years and then been able to retire early. Suddenly, there's no 9 to 5 anymore. And that can really impact psychologically, right? In order to tackle this issue, you need to start transitioning your lifestyle a little bit early in advance of your actual early retirement. Start engaging in extracurricular work outside of your actual job. Start building social networks. Start building hobbies and things that you can do after you have stopped working your regular 9 to 5 job. Start building a side hustle. Make sure that you're not finding yourself in a state of complete isolation and not finding yourself in a state of loss of identity or loss of purpose. Right? The next big stressor can be major financial changes. So you have made a plan and you have worked on that plan of investing and saving money and growing your wealth to a particular point, but you could suddenly find yourself in a situation like COVID or conflict or hyperinflation. All of that planning can suddenly go for a toss very quickly. So you need to manage your portfolio, your money, your sources of income post retirement in a way that helps you mitigate the risks from these types of issues that can happen at any point. And the best way to do it is to engage with a professional financial advisor who can help you define and execute the right kind of strategies to make sure that your financial situation is taken care of. Another example is moving. A lot of people, when they retire, end up moving from one place to another. They end up like changing homes, changing cities, some cases changing countries. Depending on what age you are in, which country you are living in, you might go into a retirement community or you might require assisted living facilities. And all of that can add up a lot of anxiety and stress on somebody who's already reeling with a lot of change in their life, right? Like you're suddenly facing loss of identity because your income has stopped and now you are, instead of seeing your net worth increase every month, pulling money out from that corpus. So a lot of changes are happening at the same time. And then if you throw in a significant thing like a move, or some people call it empty nester syndrome, right? Like you might have kids, and then by the time you hit retirement, those kids are leaving home to study or to start their own career. So a lot of these changes can hit you together or about the same time, and that can be overwhelming for anybody, right? So how do you prepare yourself for all of these things, becoming aware of the fact that these things can happen, and using tools like the SRRS or the Social Readjustment Rating Scale, which is built on a lot of research done by actual psychologists and which is based on a lot of research by psychiatrists to help you prepare for events that you are most likely going to face. We are all most likely going to face in our lives. And some of the best practices, some I've already mentioned earlier, need to start early with planning and building good habits. You need to engage a good financial advisor. You need to stay healthy, build healthy habits and routines for your life. You need to build a good support network around you of your friends, family, communities, people that you can stay engaged with. Make sure that you're emotionally, socially, mentally engaged instead of becoming isolated. And just generally develop positive attitude towards change, right? It's a very famous and overused saying. So take it with a bit of pinch of salt, but change is the only constant. When you are aware of changes that can happen at any point in time, you are mentally, psychologically, and emotionally better prepared to deal with those changes. That helps you live a relatively stress free life. So, in summary, while retirement is often portrayed as this golden period where everything is going to be amazing and life is going to be stress free and we'll sit on the beach and just enjoy beers all the time, the reality could be different, and it's essential to recognize and prepare for some of these potential challenges. The social readjustment rating scale is just one of many different tools that you can consider using to understand what some of these issues can be and then take proactive steps to address them. All right. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. And if you did, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends and family. Let us know what you thought about this topic in the comments, and I will see you soon in another freshly brewed episode of Chai Pe Kharcha.